Hello and welcome to a bit of a strange video. This is in response to a few comments we've had about the channel being as quiet as it is. Most of the comments have been on Stranded Deep videos, and they say, hey, I like your video, but where is everyone? Where are the subscribers? Where are the viewers? And to be honest, it kind of is expected. It is what it is. So there are a finite number of viewers, but every day there are more and more video game channels being created. In fact, people working in school careers have reported that most kids want to be a YouTuber when they grow up, rather than a fireman or an engine driver. And that's been true for the past few years. So every day we get more and more channels, and every day fewer and fewer viewers to go between us. But the thing is, most of the viewers are going to gather around the larger channels, so the Yogscasts and the Jacksepticeye's. And really, you have to kind of stand out if you want to make it on YouTube. And to be honest, there is a lot of work that goes into that, just an enormous amount of work, unless you're very, very lucky. Our channel has had slow but very gradual growth over the past, I guess, 5 years. So it's not been too bad, to be honest. We've avoided things like sub for sub, which is where somebody who owns a channel comes along and says, hey, I like your channel. Well, they probably don't. And they say, well, I'm going to subscribe to you. Can you subscribe to me? That's kind of a non sequitur, because you end up just moving a number up and you don't get any views for it. There's nobody watching the videos. So we've kind of avoided all of that. Wild Slice itself started in 2013, and it kind of started in the middle of a shitstorm. There's no real easy way to put that. As we started, publishers were issuing copyright takedowns for Let's Play videos, because Let's Play videos had been a kind of a grey area. And they said, well, actually, it's not a transformative work. What you're doing is you're taking our gameplay footage, our audio, animations and everything, and you're just uploading it for other people to watch, and they're not paying. And then they kind of changed their mind, because they said, hang on a minute, sales in certain video games are actually going up. Ooh, maybe we can harness this. It's like, okay, what do we call these people who make video games footage for YouTube? Oh, we can call them influencers, which is kind of a dirty term. I really don't like it. I don't like being called an influencer. The thing about the channel is we've only ever played games that we've either, we've bought ourselves, obviously, but we kind of enjoy. Because there's no point in playing a game that you don't enjoy, because you just won't get that much in the way of good footage out of it. Now, we kind of missed the 2008 bubble. A lot of the big channels, a lot of the channels that I watch, started in 2008. A notable one is obviously Yogscast, which is a British channel run out of Bristol. They sort of are about the beginning of the bubble, and if you weren't in that period, so if you're a new channel coming along, you're going to find it real difficult to get that same number of subscribers, that huge subscriber base. I think that kind of time is gone, to be frank. So Wild Slice itself, it's kind of a hobby for us. We are using it to learn aspects of audio and video production, and getting those things streamlined. So we have no background in film. We do have a technical background. So I worked for over a decade as an IT technician. I work in photography now. But as far as film goes, yeah, we had to find kind of a metric to work from. One of the things we did was try and peg our quality against quality of other channels. And obviously, being British, we pegged it against Hat Films and Yogscast. And when we started, we had no idea about kit. So things like multi-monitors, microphone, which is a Samson CO1U, boom arms, shock mounts, pop shields, webcams, all that sort of stuff. One of the first things I did was actually take a screenshot, and I've got it here. It's a screenshot of Hat Films. It's a Hat Chat episode. And it was interesting to us because it had their layout. And I also had things like the audio mixer, which we ended up getting because in the early days we were doing some terrible, terrible things to try and get stuff all recorded. So Yeah, we were just kind of basing what we were doing off of what other people were doing and just focusing rather on views, on quality, and just getting that level of quality just up and up and up. And then about a year ago, we started Stranded Deep. Well, I started Stranded Deep, and it was a bit of an accident. So we had been doing PlanetSide 2, but the main problem with that was that because we're all adults and we all have jobs, some of us work shifts, some of us work normal 9 to 5s, and it became harder and harder for us to be all together recording footage at the same time. And PlanetSide 2, the recording sessions used to go on for like 2 or 3 hours. It was a marathon. It was really, really tricky. So I started Stranded Deep. I wanted something casual, and it happened to be first person, which is really, really nice. I'd seen some other people play it on YouTube. I'd watched Sips play through it. I think it was about 15 episodes. And I was like, yeah, I think that's probably okay. So I started it with the intention of getting maybe a handful of episodes out. Turns out I really, really quite enjoyed the game. It was pretty neat to begin with. Kind of scary as well, because outside of recording for Stranded Deep, I do have a genuine, not phobia, genuine respectful fear of deep water. I don't like it at all, and I don't like the things that swim in it, especially if they've got more teeth than eyes. That's a bit of a problem. The thing about that is you can get into a trap, the Minecraft trap of being known as a channel that only plays one game. And the problem with that is most views from the videos actually take place on the watch page, which means they take place on the page the video is uploaded, but people don't tend to come back and look at the channel page where the channel banner is and all the other videos. So quite often people will miss out if you start to try and diversify, if you try and... Ooh, I just hit the microphone. If you try and say, hey, we're going to play a different game, then people might just miss it. Also, if people are watching on the channel watch page and they get to the end, the other suggested videos down the side or at the end of a video, they're going to be more Stranded Deep. They're not going to be other things you're doing on your channel. It's also quite tricky doing Stranded Deep because the game is in development, and as we're playing it, there are huge changes in the game, which is good and bad. Certain things are good because it challenges us as we're playing it and makes it for more interesting viewing. But it's also bad because if the developers make a change that we either can't adapt to or just don't like, we're kind of stuck. So an example of that is the world bosses, the mission bosses in Stranded Deep, things like the Megalodon and the giant squid. They are a real problem for me because, like I've said, I don't like deep water. And the game renders deep water very well. These are areas I just can't do. I can't go out there with a handful of spears and just shoot up something. It's not to do with game mechanics, it's just to do with a personal dislike of water. So stuff like that is a real risk if you are playing a game that is in early access. You don't know what the developers are going to throw at you. There is another huge problem with Stranded Deep, one which is very, very much less obvious. And that is every time I upload a video, YouTube flags it as unsuitable for all advertisers. So they put a little yellow sticker on it, and it is just a pain in the butt because through Apocrypha, it's taken out of search rankings, or at least the search rankings are much lowered. Also, the adverts that run alongside them are going to be terrible. And even if you request a review, which is what I do, in fact, if I bring up videos. Oh, there we go. So Stranded Deep, End of the World, last video that was up, limited or no ads. Yeah, little yellow sticker, review requested. So if that goes to a green sticker, which all of these have had to have been done in the not so distant past, it's still flagged on the back end as having been flagged. So a video that has a yellow sticker that goes green will still be flagged as having a yellow sticker in the past, and it still might not be searched. It's just crazy. And YouTube is so opaque, you just can't tell what is happening at any one time. So yeah, Stranded Deep is good for the channel, but it's also bad for the channel because it's probably not even appearing in people's searches. I have looked at other games. We do play other games from time to time. There is a slight problem with that. We would, if it's a multiplayer game, we need to get a copy for each of us, and if it's a AAA game, that's going to be expensive, depending on how many people are playing. If it's single player, then not so bad. But yeah, YouTube doesn't pay us. We don't get any money from YouTube. In fact, I looked in the account before recording this video, and there's about £20 in it. They don't pay out until you hit 60, and that's over nearly 5 years. So, being honest with you guys, there is no money coming back from this endeavor at all whatsoever. Merchandise and things like that are completely off the table, and Patreon as well, because the viewer base is so small. I would not feel comfortable saying, hey, buy a t-shirt, and I would absolutely not feel comfortable saying, hey, support us on Patreon, because I don't feel that we can do any more than we're doing, but just because of the time limitations. Oh yeah, time is the next note that comes up. Yeah, time is hugely important because basically I can get home from work, I can record an episode of Stranded Deep, and I know how long it's going to take, roughly from start to end, and then I know how long it's going to take to transcode. So you need to transcode it to make sure it's all 60 FPS, because otherwise Premiere will have a problem with it. You need to clean up the audio, which can take anywhere between 20 minutes to an hour. Then you need to edit it. Then you need to encode it. Then you need to upload it. And encode and upload usually take about the same amount of time. So that's 5 steps minimum that you're doing to make a video, which takes just so much time. Usually I'll get home, I'll either do the recording or there'll be a recording waiting. Usually do, for Stranded Deep, maybe 1 or 2 recordings at a time. I will probably turn the oven on about the time it's transcoding, and then start an edit, maybe get to the end of that, and then have the edit encoding by the time dinner's done. And then by the time it's finished encoding, I've probably washed up and everything, and come back, start uploading. Once it's uploading, the computer's free to use again, because while it's transcoding or encoding, you kind of can't really use the computer. And I can't do it on the laptop because the laptop's just not powerful enough. So yeah, it'll do it. It'll just take forever. So yeah, time is a huge factor when looking at other games. It's like, is it going to take the same amount of time as Stranded Deep to edit, to encode, and all that sort of stuff? Is it going to take longer? I could tell you that the live streams take forever. They usually encoded overnight. And there's a question of skill, because you don't really want to be watching somebody who has no skill in the game. If they're just trying to do the tutorial for 20 minutes and fail, that doesn't make for good watching. So yeah, in terms of other games, it's cost, time, and skill. And time is something that we don't really have. Cost is always a factor, and skill is something that's going to factor into time. So yeah, I have been looking at other things, but as far as other games go, suggestions will be good. Zach Gamer YT suggested City Skylines, and that's kind of in my wheelhouse. I do like the city builder games, and I would consider definitely doing a series on Skylines. It kind of ties neatly into the map editor series we've been doing with Stranded Deep. So yeah, I can see that kind of working out well. It would take a little while just to get used to the tool set and everything. To be honest, I like open world games, like FPS games. So GTA 5 is good, but it really involves getting the lads in on that for some multiplayer stuff. You can't really do it by yourself. I think there was Dookie Literature Club I was looking at, but it would involve a lot of reading, and the trouble is I can't read and speak I can read and speak at the same time, but it usually comes out all garbled. And if it's not technical, yeah, I did look at Gold Rush. God damn, I would just be bored doing that. And I cannot record a game where I just have no interest in it. And things like Gold Rush, I think there was another one, something to do with mechanics, putting together like mechanics on a vehicle or something. I can't do that. It's just not, I can't do it and make it interesting. So yeah, the answer to a quiet channel is that no, there's a lot of stuff going on in the background. There's a lot of kit and there's a lot of time. There's a lot of resources that are being used already. Stranded Deep is good because it's a nice stable base for the channel. But yeah, we probably do need to diversify. And I would be quite happy to do that. But yeah, it's not a problem. It's not a problem. So the fact that it's quiet kind of is also good. I like it being a smaller channel. I like it being so that we can actually talk to everyone who comments. That's kind of cool. Because if you're a massive channel, you just cannot do that. You can't keep up with everyone. And I just like the fact that everyone who is here tends to be kind of nice. I'll tell you what, we're going to carry on doing what we're doing for the time being. If you guys are up for it, then definitely leave comments and suggestions below. Otherwise, more Stranded Deep definitely in the future, not a problem with that. I might, like I said, investigate somewhere like City Skylines. That's kind of wheelhouse territory. And you know what? I will catch you guys next time. Bye.